brakes, and I landed with my head firmly planted between the red and the yellow lever, right down at the bottom there, completely inverted. And I've only ever once bought a running vehicle.
Okay. I never knew that. Yeah.
Every vehicle eventually is resorted to putting the bonnet with a spare wheel on the roof rack. It's actually probably the longest rebuild in history. I think it's about 15 years or something, or 10 years or something. I bought it way too long ago.
Hi guys, today we're going to meet a real legend. It's someone that you've seen in my videos a few times. Pretty much most of my videos you will have seen him in the background, but he's very much in the foreground. So it's someone that I've known my whole life, basically, well, at least for the last 50 years. And yeah, he's a real legend, and we're going to meet him. I'm going to spend some time. We're driving out to an event today, so we got some time in the car, so we're just going to catch up, and then we'll also have a look around his property and see what he's got there, what Landys he works on. But I can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to introduce. It's going to be my brother, so let's meet him. Yeah, I've got Brian in the car, and I've been asked, is Brian ever going to speak, or does Brian speak? And apparently he does speak. He is, even though he's my youngest brother, or my younger brother, he's like I mentioned in the intro, you know, when it comes to Landys and most things in life, he's been around a while, so he knows a few things. So yeah, so this is Brian. I mean, what's some of your first memories of a Land Rover?
Some of my first memories was sleeping in the back of the Land Rover. I can remember that distinctly from long ago. We went everywhere with our Land Rovers, well, with my parents' vehicle, which we still have. And sleeping in the back, there's just something about sleeping in the back of a Land Rover while you're driving along, especially series. It's terribly calming and terribly memorable. So I remember sleeping and the occasional going to school when it's raining as of my very first memories in the back of the Land Rover. Because the back of our series Land Rover, of my folks Land Rover, it was a station. It was a 3-door, so the back was just essentially set up for sleeping. So there was a bit of a channel in the middle, otherwise it had big mattresses. Yeah. So the back of the vehicle is like this big open flat space where you spend your time while you're traveling, hence the sleeping, etc. So it's not like formally sitting in the back of a vehicle. It's just like a different play space, if you will.
And I mean, you didn't have seat belts or anything
no,
like
there
that,
was never any of that.
Child seats or anything like that.
No, there were no child seats, no seat belts, bugger all. You'd be in the back of the car and you're driving along and you're doing stuff, playing games, doing whatever you're doing. I do remember though, talking about the first memories, obviously when off-road it's quite interesting, and you're trying to look out the window, the front window, seeing where you're going and stuff. And I was at the back, and with a series vehicle you got the divider in the middle, and I was sort of sitting there looking forward, and there was some bump or something, and my dad stepped on the brakes, and I landed with my head firmly planted between the red and the yellow lever, right down at the bottom there, completely inverted. I was right down in the levers. So that was a bit of a shocker. At no point did a safety belt ever come to mind, or was it ever something that anybody mentioned. It was more a matter of just pay attention about where we're going. It wasn't a safety belt issue. Yeah. So yeah, that's right in the beginning.
Yeah. Those. I mean, I didn't even remember that. So it shows you all of these things. So, I mean, we could talk for hours about these things, but let's talk about the vehicles that you've built. I mean, you've had your own vehicles, and what were your favorite vehicles that you've had? Because you've had also quite a few.
Yeah, so obviously with us Cottons, we started off, we had the series Land Rover right in the beginning, And then the South African military started selling all their stuff off, and that's where the Land Rover actually became quite popular in South Africa, because there were lots of Land Rovers in the military and they were going cheap. So I got my first Land Rover then. That was a little short wheelbase Series 3, and Series 3s were quite new at the time, what with plastic dashboard and stuff, and I didn't like this idea. I didn't like this whole plastic thing. So and I was 15 odd at that stage. And didn't being 15, you know, you can't drive yet. We can only drive at 17. So I had this vehicle. My dad said, there it is, if you want it, you got to build it. And I built it. I didn't completely strip it down, but I took it down quite a lot, and I took the dash out. I cut a dash out of an old Ford Control.
I forgot about
and
that.
I pop riveted the dash in there. It was awesome. Got it a bit skew left to right, but it was lacquer.
So you basically changed the Series 3 plastic dash
for a metal
Series
dashboard.
2 metal dash.
Absolutely, and it was awesome. So there I already started with modifications, and it's never ended. It was petrol, 2.25 petrol. Then,
did you change it to diesel?
Yeah, but I had a moment where I needed some more excitement in my life, so I turbocharged it.
Oh yeah, just turbocharged petrol.
Yeah, just when I left school, I turbocharged it with a Nissan Tredia turbo, I remember. Put it all together using some drain pipes and various other bits and pieces. I didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I did it anyway. And that was awesome. How that thing went like a bomb. At that time, the V8 Defender just came out, or V8 110 actually. And obviously big V8 in there, that went well. It outran that thing without even trying. It was way proper. It was great fun in the rain. And as these things go, because it was on a budget, the pipe came off and I broke it. Engine got sore. Turbo, I damaged the turbo, and I didn't want to buy another one. So I pulled that motor and put a 2.25 diesel in it. Complete swap. And I loved it. It was wonderful. Put a branch and a free flow exhaust on it. It actually went very well, and it was still a great vehicle. So I had it in 3 different instances, or 3 different ways. It was a hardtop, it was a pickup. So it did everything. It was the multi vehicle. It did everything. No single purpose. But yeah, that was
your favorite.
Was extreme. That was my favorite.
But with all your vehicles that you had, they've been standard, but they've never been normal.
Well,
they've always had something else going on.
I was thinking the other day, of all the vehicles I've ever bought, well, I've never bought a new vehicle ever. And I've only ever once bought a running vehicle.
Okay. I never knew that.
Every vehicle I've bought, my D90 is the only vehicle I bought that I drove away from the purchase place. So I had the Series Shorty. Then I bought the long station wagon to make a camper out of. I bought the 110. It was a turbo diesel 110. The engine was in the back at the time. When Shelley wrote off for a car, we bought the blue Range Rover.
Blue Range Rover,
That was a half rebuild, so that we bought with
a 2-door,
Two-door, it was a 2-door. And then we immediately put a GMC 6.2 V8 into that.
Yes, the upgrade of the engine.
That was back in that day, those days. And that was an interesting exercise. That went on for a few years. Modifications, so the Shorty's got, the little blue got mods, it got a turbo on it. And then it went to standard diesel. The Falcon never got modified other than putting it together. The Range Rover just started off its second life being modified properly. I learned a hell of a lot with that one. That one and the turbo diesel camper. There I think I did most of my weird stuff. Where I had to figure out, I think back of the brackets I had to build for the alternator and whatnot on the camper, on the turbo diesel. And I think back now, with the image in my mind of what I built, I think, oh, well, that was a really horrible thing. The thing was the King Julian.
Yes.
Which is now our promotional Land Rover for Landy online.
Yes, that's right. That's had all your modifications and things fitted to it.
So we had the workshop. We were running the workshop full time. And we decided that a great excuse would be to build this really cool marketing vehicle. So that we bought as an upside down vehicle, literally. When we got it, it was upside down. So we put it the right way up. And just built it with what we could get. So it had series doors on. It was a 300 TDI, but it had series doors on, and we panel beated it. It ended up being very neat. It looked very nice. It was nice, flashing bright green. It was really cool.
And then after that, I mean, there's not been much, because except for the stuff that you're building up now.
That's where life became miserable, because because the workshop took a lot of time. It took a lot of toll. We stopped going on holiday. We did a lot of off-roading. Just to show off and to be there, show face. So we did a hell of a lot of off-roading with Julian, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Until I had a realization, being a young dad, I looked at competitors and what they were doing, and I thought, you know, if that thing rolls down that hill, then there's going to be one very sad story. And I decided it's not worth that. I mean, I didn't have roll cages and stuff.
I had that same. We all have that. You
get to that point and you realize I've got nothing to show off anymore. I don't need to do that. And I stopped hardcore playing off-road. It's a bit sad, but you know, I concentrated on work, and we had things happening, and we had young kids. So
you did
being self-employed, that's not the easiest thing. So you know.
So now about with the trips and stuff, because I mean, you still, I mean, you may not have done many trips recently, but I mean, you've still done I mean, more trips than most people will ever do in their life. So from all the trips that we've done, and that you've done, what are the most, some of the most memorable ones that you've had, the overlanding trips?
When we were planning, you remember, we were planning to go on the African trip.
Yes.
When we planned to go on an African trip, drive to the UK. This is like always been a dream and a plan. And we had a lot of homework done. I mean, we'd been doing homework for a long time. So, and then West Africa just went bad.
Yeah, because you wanted to go west.
We want to go west. We're not going to do the easy route. We want to go West Africa. And then wars broke out, and we basically ended up cancelling the trip permanently. Just like, okay, it's not going to happen. Then, you know, now you're sitting there. You built a vehicle. You're ready to go. We were supposed to leave like in 2 months, and we just realised not going to happen. We thought, okay, well, this is a moment. So we just headed into Mozambique. We just drove off there, and we headed all the way up the coast into northern Mozambique. Just Shelly and I with our vehicle, Michelin maps, whatever maps you've got. And we just went to, we had a lot of time, so we just drove along and went to places we thought of, look on the map and say, that's cool, what's there? But I remember at one point we were going to head even more north, so we got it packed in. This is like full water, lots of fuel. We don't know where we're going, you know. It's like darkest.
But you probably, that vehicle was probably prepared. I mean,
so you
had everything on there.
We had like 1,000 liters of diesel, or 600 or something. We can go a long way. We had 100 liters of water. We had gas. We had spares. We had everything, full roll cage. We had the windows closed with sand ladders closed up. It had winch, and it had diff locks, it had all sorts. It was heavy and proper.
And I mean, that whole vehicle was built. You built it. And there was no
no branded, nothing.
There was no brand. It was all built for purpose.
Built not bought, eh? Built not bought. Absolutely everything. The roll cage.
But I mean, at that time there was hardly anything you could buy anyway. You couldn't actually buy.
No, there was nothing. There was very little. I went to buy a big ass welder that I still got now to make it. So the vehicle wasn't light by any stretch. So fully loaded, and we head out, and I don't know, an hour or two out of town, heading up some little road, and we thought, okay, let's cross this little stream and we'll head into there, and we'll find a nice place on the coast to sleep. A tiny little stream. The stream was about so big. That was awesome. So we're just going to cross that, have lunch, and then go. We got out of that mud hole at about 6:30.
Oh, jeez.
And we were there about 5 hours. By this stage, and we had recovery equipment for like 20-30 meters. So everything around us was flat already. It just can't. And the winch was on the front of the vehicle because we're actually going that way. But that way wasn't a way we could go. We had to go that way. We had to go back because it just got worse. But so eventually we had a team of 16 people that were working for us. And there were guys chopping trees down. They were making, and we had sand ladders. We had 4 proper military sand ladders. It didn't help. We had oaks chopping trees down. Some of these weird, it's like I almost said floating wood, but floating wood. It was like a very lightweight tree. Easy to work with. But they made platforms. We dug through that thick black peat stuff, and we worked hard. Eventually we paid them, I suppose, reasonably handsomely. They got a good day's work out of that. Paid them all, they were all very happy, and we just reversed out and we headed back to where we came from, because now it's dark and we're in the middle of nowhere. So we thought, no, we need to go get back and just regroup and get the mud out of everywhere, because the vehicle was up to its eyeballs in mud. And that was that. But that I'll never forget. That was probably one of the most hardcore holiday events that we had. There are obviously very many of them.
Others,
but that particular one, that was because we were alone.
And then you also did 1 or 2 trips to Lesotho.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
I did a couple of trips to Lesotho.
My first, okay, you were talking about in my favorite trips. Okay, maybe not my favorite, but my first. When I built the Green Series camper. Okay, I just had it got it done. It was painted, but the camper wasn't built inside. So it was just a hollow 3-door long wheelbase Series 3. And I just met Shelley, like, I don't know, probably about 4 months prior, or 3 months prior or something. So we were still quite new to each other. And I said to her, hey, I'm going on this holiday, come with me. She said, okay, cool. And that's where we went with Jerome and his friend and his friend's girlfriend in their short wheelbase, 2.25 short wheelbase. Now Jerome's Land Rover, he wasn't much of a mechanic, but he loved the Land Rover and he drove it. So we eventually resorted to putting the bonnet with a spare wheel on the roof rack. So that was up on the roof rack. Because he couldn't do the passes, he couldn't get up the passes. It was missing a cylinder right from the beginning. Like when we pull out, he's like, it's not running very well, but we should be okay, and off we go. And that was in Joburg. You know, so you got to several.
And then when it gets, obviously in Lesotho, it gets higher, and you're losing
like
power.
12,000 feet. It's crazy. It's up there. Nothing goes. And a 3-cylinder Series Land Rover is not going to go, definitely. So that was that. So put the bonnet on the roof. I stand on the bumper, holding tight, and while he drives up the pass, I tune his distributor.
But that's also, I've observed in a Mozambican trip. You remember you were doing the same on Albert's Landy on the beach.
You see, it was experience.
That's the on the fly.
That's the dyno. It's a Land Rover dyno tuning. So that is on the fly. It's the best way, because you got to load it. You can't just tune it while it's adjusted, while it's standing there. Drive the thing. Put the spare. So that's where it came from. It wasn't a crazy idea.
It was pioneered in the Lesotho mountains.
That's right. It's copyrighted, the whole thing. It was done. But it was cold. I mean, I remember we was camping on the side of a mountain. You're in Lesotho. There is nowhere else to camp. A side of a mountain. There's no flat space. It's like this. So there was like what, I don't know what happened there, but it was there was a flat spot, but it was on the side of the mountain over there. And we parked there. It was level. We could sleep there because we slept in the vehicle. So you need to get at least a reasonable piece. And it was so cold, we were sitting outside. We had a little gas stove going, and we had 2-minute noodles in it, and we were eating while they were cooking on the stove. So because you take it off, it's cold by the time it's in the plate. So this is hardcore. There's nothing warm, nothing special about it. You're just on the side of a mountain in Lesotho. But I remember that one distinctly, and that's what we did. That's how we roll.
So there you see, so I mean, Brian can tell us stories for days, and we could do like a year's trip around the world, basically having these stories. So, but I'm sure we'll catch up with some more of those. But I think the next part is what we'll do is we'll have a look, because I mean, once it's actually so nice that we had this chat, because when you now go and see the workshop and see what goes on there,
it all fall into place.
It all fits together, because if you saw that without the context, you wouldn't quite understand it. So we'll have a look at the workshop as well, and then look at some of the other vehicles that you're busy with now, and we'll see how that's going. Okay, so this is the garage where I do my restoration, where I'm working on my vehicle. A couple of vehicles been done here, but anyway, I've got this spot now. It's like a four bay garage, so there's a couple of other Landys in here. There's the green one, and then at the back there is one of the ones that Brian's fixing, 110. But let's go down to Brian's workshop, which is down at the bottom of the property, and see if we can find him there. Okay, here we are. This is the famous workshop where lots of stuff happens, and there's lots and lots of tools and things. Ah, hello.
Ah, there you are.
Okay, so let's just check this this green. So this thing's actually now almost finished.
Yeah,
It's getting finished.
Yeah, for way too long, but yes, it's actually probably the longest rebuild in history. I think it's about 15 years or something, or 10 years or something. I bought it way too long ago. It spent more time standing still than it's actually spent functioning as a driving vehicle. But yeah, it's just that I don't really need to use it right now, so I build it when I feel like building it.
But in the last, I mean, the last month, you made all the progress basically.
Yeah, well, lockdown, obviously I made some major progress in lockdown, because then I sat at home with nothing to do. So, well, not that I got nothing to do, but I did it. And then got the painting done and the bodywork done. I had done the chassis some time ago. So now it's just the little bits, and the little bits always take a lot of time. This morning I managed to get the windows in, all 3 back windows in without breaking anything, which is a great achievement, so I'm very chuffed. Yeah, so now it's upholstery inside, but
And this is basically bog standard 130 TDI.
It started its life off as a bog standard 300 TDI 130 with a it was a forestry vehicle, so it had a huge water tank in the back, and it was well used. Half the chassis was full of sand. Got it without a bonnet, without a front, without an engine, and it's standing around forever. So when I sold my King Julian, I pulled the axles out, because they got cam lockers in. So I took the axles out and I took the engine out. So this one's got the previous Landy's engine in and the 2 axles in, and then for the rest it's been rebuilt from the bottom upwards, repainted, cleaned, everything fixed, replaced as is necessary. So yeah, that's where it is now.
Okay, so this just show me, because you've got two EMSs in here.
Yeah, so I thought, well, why not, hey? So I put 2 EMS3s in. So they're not completely done yet, but maybe it'll come up. But so we've got the one doing all the regular things, EGT, battery, RPM, temperature, oil pressure, boost. And then the other one is going to do fuel and speed at the moment, and it'll probably run water meth injection or something that I do. I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Let's just check the other vehicles that you've got around here. A quick whiz around. Maybe we should go out. You've got some outside.
Well, follow me. Yeah, let's get that out the way. So yeah, we just got the regular disco. This is Chevy's disco. It's also, I suppose, a standard 300 TDI, but it's got also one of my VNT turbos on, and that we've had for some time now. 430,000 goes on. So that's the daily drive. That's going on and on and on. And then that disco over there I bought just for pieces. Managed to get it at a steal, so that was just pieces. Oh, and then we go around the corner here. All the exciting vehicles aren't here except for this one. So this is a Sandringham 6 or a Hotspur. So that's the leaf sprung 6x6 that I got also, I don't know, 20 years ago. That's next. After the green one's done, I'm probably going to start up with the with this one. Either this one, or I'm going to swap it for a slightly newer model, the coil sprung model, a Defender version. But otherwise, I've got everything for it. The drop side body, aluminium drop side body. I'll put a canvas top on, try and make it original. So yeah, that's really exciting. Everybody I tell about this vehicle wants it, so it's not for sale yet.
Okay, cool. Okay, good.
So that's it.
That's it.
No.
So there you have it. It's confirmed Brian does talk.
Yeah, I do talk.
And he can say a lot, and he has a lot to say.
I
so
talk, yeah.
I'm sure you will also catch him in other videos on lots of other things, because we're never too far apart, and we're usually doing something somewhere about something. And so yeah, so when you see him around, now you'll know who he is.
Yeah,
so that's
me.
great.